Chua. For today's practice, please have the usual props handy, a couple of yoga blocks, a pillow or bolster, a strap, and a blanket or towel. We're going to begin in a restorative pose that gently opens up the front body, specifically the chest and the shoulders. So you'll want to set up your 2 blocks. Now you may choose to use just one. Once you've set this up, you can adjust the height of the blocks towards the back end of your mat like this. And then your bolster or pillow is going to serve like a ramp or recliner that you're going to lean back against. So the pelvis is going to be on the floor, and you may want to use your blanket. So as you're sitting with knees bent apart, soles of your feet together, if you're feeling your thighs uncomfortably lifting away from the floor, you may want to roll up your blanket like a very long cylindrical pillow shape like this, and then drape the middle of that cylinder on top of your inner ankles so that you can tuck the edges of the cylinder underneath your outer thighs to the thickness of the support that you need. So you want to feel comfortable to open up your hips gently in this Baddha Konasana or bound ankle pose. And then while the pelvis is on the floor, the back of your pelvis is meeting the bottom edge of the bolster so that you can lie back just like you're on a recliner and turn the palms to face up by your sides. If you find that the height of the blocks is not comfortable, whether you need it a little closer to the middle of the pillow like I do, or you need it lower, adjust the height of the blocks as you need. Because we're going to start here for the first couple of minutes of our practice. Nice. And if you're finding that bringing the soles of your feet together is a bit deep of a hip opener to start with, you can also cross your legs like you're sitting cross-legged, or simply just extend your legs apart like you would in Shavasana. And just allow a moment here as you're lying back, getting your body settled, to gaze around the space near you, just where you are, visually orienting, arriving a little more here and now as you begin this practice in yoga. Take in the sounds. Maybe you hear the rain outside if you're in LA. And then as you feel comfortable, if you feel comfortable, turn your attention deeper inward by closing your eyes. Zooming your focus to your body and its sensations. Feeling the qualities of your natural breath. And then gently inviting deeper breaths. Perhaps some audible sighs out through your mouth. Allowing the in-breaths to gently expand not only your lungs, the 4 walls of your rib cage, but gradually down to the pit of your belly. Perhaps you even feel it in your lower back. Deeper in-breaths and slow releasing out-breaths. As we rest here for just a little more, I wanted to read an extract from a book that I'm hosting, a book why we think love doesn't include strength, just softness. If so, we're only thinking in one dimension. Look at the many ways we experience water. It trickles, spurts, floods, pours, streams, soaks, and shows itself in many more modes. All these convey evanescence, release, flow. They are all about not being stuck. Water is flexible, taking the shape of whatever vessel it flows into. It's always interacting, changing, in motion, yet revealing continual patterns of connection. Water can be so expressive, a signal of our most heartfelt feelings. We cry tears of joy, tears of outrage, tears of gratitude, and tears of sorrow. Water can be puzzling, seeming weak or ineffectual, yielding too much, not holding firm. And yet, over time, water will carve its own pathway, even through rock. And yes, water freezes, but it also melts. So as we sit here on this rainy day, contemplating the element, the earth element of water, as Bruce Lee said, I think he did, how can we learn to flow like water? Remembering that love itself, as we practice the theme of ahimsa within the first limb of yoga, is not only about being soft but strong and finding that balance of flow between them. So let's bring that into our embodied presence, the quality of water. As you hear your breath now, maybe closing your lips if that's feasible for you, and sustaining your breath through your nose. And if you can, create a gentle whispering sound by softly narrowing the back of your throat. And notice that the sound, if you're creating it, sounds like water, like gentle ocean waves rising and falling. This calming breathing technique called Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breath. So as we continue to listen to the breath, we're going to move gently out of this position. So if you have a prop that's tucked under your outer thighs, like a blanket, go ahead and use your hands to just slide it off to the mat, outside of your mat, to the side. And then bring your palms to your outer thighs, slowly lifting them like you're closing a book. So as the knees rise, you set your 2 feet onto the ground. And then just for a moment, we're going to do the opposite. So separate your feet wider than hips distance. Then drop your knees together so they touch, thereby offering a gentle stretch across your lower back, widening the sacrum. And on your next inhale, like a mini vinyasa flow, raise your arms forward and towards overhead, just to the point overhead where your shoulders don't begin to shrug towards your neck. And as you exhale, seal your palms and trace your thumbs to your forehead, to your chest, to your navel. Sort of like a salutation as you're lying here. One more. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and up, drawing your shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, bring your palms together and trace your midline with your thumbs. Continuing to cultivate that soft sound of your breath. Place your hands alongside your pillow, left and right, and then begin to lift your torso upright, coming up to sit. So as we continue developing awareness of the breath, please find a comfortable seat. You may even want to sit on one of your props, your blanket or pillow. And we're going to practice another breathing technique called Durga Pranayama. I know that somebody mentioned head pressure, and different calming breath works can be helpful to release that tension. So find a way to sit where your left and right sitting bones feel firmly planted against the surface beneath, causing a rebounding lift up through the center of your spine where your chest can broaden, the crown of your head can rise with an open space at your throat, and then just rest your hands onto your lap for a moment and maybe close your eyes. So Durga pausing. And then inhaling the last third into the top of your chest, where we'll hold the breath just a few seconds longer, making sure to relax the body and face while you're holding the breath. And then we'll exhale still through the nose, all the way out to empty. And we'll hold the breath out at the bottom. That's one cycle. So if it helps, I like to place the left hand on the chest and the right hand on the lower belly, just to feel the separation of those three parts. Okay, let's take a clearing breath before we start. Deep inhale. And still through the nose, long exhale. Then hold your breath out into your belly. Inhale 1/3. Pause. Into your side ribs. Inhale 1/3. Pause. Into your chest. Inhale 1/3. As you hold your breath, stay relaxed. Then exhale completely. Hold the breath at empty. And let's try again. Inhale to the belly, 1/3. Into your side ribs, 1/3. Into your chest, last third. Hold your breath in, relax the shoulders, relax your face. And slowly listen to the breath exit your nose. All the way out, hold it out. And let's try again. Into the belly, inhale 1/3. Into your side ribs, inhale 1/3. Into your chest, inhale the last third. Hold it in sweetly. Then slowly let it go. Now hold the breath out for a few seconds, and when you're ready, try on your own this 3-part breathing. 1 round. You finished holding your breath out, breathe naturally for a moment and just observe the effects of that short pranayama or breathwork practice. Maybe setting an intention for your yoga practice and your day. Dedication. Now let's continue to breathe into all 3 parts without holding the breath. So a smooth transition into the belly, the side ribs, the chest. A smooth transition into the exhalation, all the way to empty. Again, cultivating that gentle whisper by softly constricting the back of your throat. Returning to Ujjayi pranayama, but notice how it might have been affected. So listening to your breathing, notice if it ever gets choppy or feel disturbed. You always have the option to slow down what you're doing with your body, or to just pause and come into a resting position like sitting or child's pose to regain that sense of balance in your breath, first and foremost. As you continue to ease your breath in and out through your nose, take a look at the way that you're sitting. And if it's cross-legged, try switching the leg that's forward or on top just to even out the gentle stretch in your hips. And we're going to add some movement to the breath. So as you press your palms face down into your lap, sit a little taller without shrugging the shoulders. Then inhale, sway your torso to one side, leaning forward. Exhale to the other side, leaning back. So it's a gentle rotation. Inhale. Exhale. Continue for a few more cycles. And notice as you're doing this, how can you invite the feeling of flow, the quality of water, this ability to adapt to each new position or change. Now let's switch directions. Inhale, forward. other side and back. Remember that this is your practice, and I'm sort of like a tour guide, so I'm just here to just say, take a look at that, and maybe you want to try this, but really you're in your body to decide what's best for you in each moment. So take that liberty, and then let's come back to center, rolling the shoulders. Inhale forward and up. Exhale the shoulders back and down. A few more. Inhale and exhale. And then let's switch directions. Inhale your shoulders behind you and up. Exhale forward and down. And then as you release the shoulders down again, let the fronts of your shoulders slightly drop behind your ears, broadening your collarbones. And then bring your right fingertips, as I'm mirroring you here, to the left side of your skull. Extend your left arm straight out to the left with your wrist flexing like you're saying stop. And then gently drop your right ear down towards your right shoulder, stretching into the left side of your neck. You're merely using the weight of your right hand on your skull to help the stretch, not force. Pressing towards your left wall through the heel of your left palm. Let your two shoulder blades melt down your back ribs. And as your sitting bones root into the surface below, feel a slight lift of your navel, your lower belly, inward towards your spine and upward towards your heart. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Feel energy in your left fingertips as you're pointing them towards the sky. Nice, and then from here, reach your hands behind your back, and you might choose to grab a strap or interlace your fingers. Do what's more comfortable for you. And imagine that you have a tennis ball right between your elbows and you're squeezing that tennis ball. Reach your arms over to your right side, towards your right hip. And then drop again, right ear towards right shoulder. Same direction. As you take a deep breath, smile your collarbones wider apart from the sternum, at the middle of your chest, out to each shoulder head. And as you exhale, relax the trapezius muscle that surrounds your neck, tops of your shoulders, and to the tops of your shoulder blades. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Now notice the muscles in your face. How are they reacting or responding in this position? Inhale, slowly lift your skull and just give your arms a gentle shake. Maybe even the shoulders, maybe even the head. Get some energy flowing. And then take your left fingertips to the right side of your skull. Extend your right arm straight out to the right, pressing the heel of the palm towards your right wall. Gently drop left ear towards left shoulder. Feel the surface you're sitting on and press into it so that energy lifts up through your spine as you draw the lower belly inward gently. Listen to your breath in. Match the length of your breath out. Feel energy in your right fingertips as they're pointing towards the clouds. And let's take 2 last breaths here. Take your hands behind your back, whether to grab a strap between them or to switch the interlacing of the thumb and index finger on top, maybe the non-default one on top. hug an imaginary tennis ball between your elbows, and this time wrap your wrist towards your left hip. Then again, drop left ear towards left shoulder. Breathe to fill up space in your chest, the sides of your rib cage, and down to the pit of your belly. Hear the full release of your in-breath. Notice your jaw relaxed, your tongue soft. The four corners of each eye at ease. Last 2 breaths here. And as you unwind, let's give the arms and hands another shake. Deep breath in. This time open your mouth. Let's come on down to all fours, hands and knees. If you like cushion under your knees, you might keep the mat folded just the thickness that you need, that section where your knees land. If you have 2 blocks, please place them on the outsides of the top of your mat for later. And set your wrists on the floor just beneath your shoulders, but step your knees a couple inches behind your hips. This will give the torso some room to flow around. Now we're going to stretch the inner sides of your wrists and forearms as we move in cat-cow. So first, spin out your hands so that your fingertips to some degree face the outer edges of your mat or the rear of your mat. Now entering cow, take a deep inhale as you glide your chest through your upper arms and roll your shoulders back to look up towards the sky. Then as you exhale, look down between your knees, contracting your belly and tucking your tailbone beneath. Again, inhale, press your sternum through your upper arms and tilt your heart towards the sky. Exhale, hollow your belly to dome your back. Continue on 3 to 5 more cycles of breath, slowly synchronizing your body to your breathing. To open up the upper back. Thread the needle. On your next inhale, raise your left arm towards the sky, opening your chest. As you exhale, thread your left arm beneath your right bent elbow. Left palm facing up. Lower the left side of your skull, either on the floor or on top of a prop, like your block. Then as you flare your right elbow towards the sky, you may want to come onto your right fingertips, pressing the ground away. Feel your left and right hips. Try to level them in height, supporting your lower back. And then feel your rib cage as though it were a globe, spinning gently along the axis of your spine. Feel your inhale expand, especially into the backs of your lungs. Relax the area between your shoulder blades as you breathe out. Just like that. Let's take 3 more breaths. And at the bottom of your next out breath, press your hands into the floor to slowly rise back to all fours, hands and knees. Transitioning to side 2, inhale, raise your right arm, opening your chest. And exhale, thread your right arm beneath your left bent elbow, right palm facing up. outer sides of your upper arms towards the floor so that you can broaden across your shoulders, creating more space throughout your neck. At the same time, press your shoulder blades down your back, lengthening your neck, and gently firm your belly in support of your back. Now think of creating a flat back. As you step your knees back just to the point where your hips can stack right above your knees, your spine is long as the crown of your head is reaching forward rather than dropping the skull. And as your fingertips are reaching towards the front edges of the blocks, you're rebounding a lift of your shoulder blades onto your back ribs, freeing up even more space in your neck as we take another 3 to 5 breaths. Continue to rotate your triceps towards the ground so that the inner creases of your elbows are spinning to face each other rather than the floor. Feel your sitting bones magnetize towards your rear wall as your lower belly lifts in support of your lower back. So this is basically half version of downward facing dog. You can do it with your hands on the floor or your hands on the blocks anytime you want to change up your downward facing dog. But let's use this feeling of lengthening the spine as a reference point for those of you that want to come into full downward facing dog. Setting the blocks aside with knees under hips, wrists a couple inches in front of the shoulders, and index fingers parallel as they point forward, thumbs wide, spreading towards each other. The energy in the hands feels like you're pushing the mat forward and away from your knees as you rebound a lift of your shoulders and hips back. Then stepping your feet apart at least hips distance, you may want to take the first few breaths in downward dog to shift around any way that's comfortable for you, like pedaling your feet in place, which helps to warm up the backs of your legs, or softly shaking your head no, nodding your head yes, to make sure that you're not carrying unnecessary tension in your neck. Listen to your breath again. Feel the energy through your fingertips as you wrap your triceps towards the ground, dropping your skull completely. Steady your gaze on the floor towards your feet. Feel free to bend your knees any amount so that you can truly lift your tailbone and draw your weight towards the rear edge of your mat, sinking your heels even if they don't touch the ground. Now let's take 2 more breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step your right foot forward, inside of your right hand, lower your back knee. Grab your 2 blocks and place them on their tallest height to frame your right calf. See that your right knee is directly on top of your right heel, but not over bending in front of the heel. Separate your outer feet to align with your outer hips. Now as you inhale, broaden your chest forward, lengthening your neck. As you exhale, keep your right heel where it is, but lift your right toes to flex the foot and begin to scissor your right hip back towards straightening the right leg as you bow with a long spine inside of the leg. Now this is going to be a vinyasa flow, so inhale, rebend your right knee to stack over the heel, broadening your chest. Exhale, lift your right toes, scissoring the right hip back as you fold. Let's take 3 more cycles. Inhale into your lunge. Exhale into half split. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, half split. Now return to your right foot to the outside of your right hand, so both hands are inside, coming into a wider version called lizard lunge. You're going to focus a little more opening on the outer right thigh and hip. So to stabilize your right knee here, flex your right foot by spreading the toes up towards the kneecap. Then gently splay your right thigh open to just lean the knife outer edge or the pinky toe side of your right foot on the floor. Be careful not to collapse onto the outer ankle like I'm doing now, just on the knife outer edge. Then continue to gently scissor your right outer hip back, broaden your chest forward, and melt your shoulders down your back. As we're here for at least 5 more breaths, you might explore lowering the blocks a level or more, or even seeing how it feels to lower onto your forearms, knowing that you can always take a step back if it feels like you've gone a little too far. When you talk about the main energy systems or the chakras, the area of the pelvis, specifically the hips, is associated with Svadhisthana chakra, and it relates to our ability to flow, like water, our ability to go and change, to adapt to life circumstances. So sometimes we can feel stuck in that area. So let's let energy flow through there. Imagine breathing into your pelvis as though it were a balloon. And then try to relax the surrounding muscles like your glute, your inner thigh, your groin. 2 more breaths. Now as you come up high onto the blocks again with your hands, set your right sole onto the earth, then step your right knee back. Coming back to downward facing dog, we put the blocks aside. Now remember, you could do half downward dog if you prefer to keep your knees on the floor. And in downward dog, let's hold still for about 5 deep breaths. Steadying your gaze on the floor, lengthening the crown of your head forward, feeling your weight distribute through all the knuckles of your palms, shoulder blades sliding apart and onto your back ribs. One more deep breath. It's wonderful to go upside down, especially in the morning, stimulating blood flow. And it also helps digestion. So from here, inhale, step left foot forward, just inside of left hand. Lower your right knee. Take your 2 blocks on their tallest height to frame your left calf. Separate your outer feet as wide apart as your outer hips. Stack your front knee directly on top of the heel. And as you breathe in, broaden your chest forward. And as you breathe out, curl up your left toes, flexing the foot, plugging your left thigh bone back towards straightening the leg as you bow inside of it. Again, inhale, bend your front knee right on top of the heel to a lunge. Exhale, scissor your left outer hip back and fold. 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Breathe in, lunge. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, lunge. And breathe out, fold. Now back to a lunge. Let's widen the stance, stepping your left foot outside of your left arm, so both hands are inside of the left leg. To stabilize your left knee in lizard lunge, flex your left foot, curling the toes up towards the kneecap, while you gently splay open your left thigh. a stagnant stillness. It's a stability. As you're grounding through your fingers spread, imagine roots emanating from your fingertips down below the surface of the earth. And as your tailbone lifts and draws back, feel the line of energy continue past your skin towards your rear wall and ceiling. As you root down through your heels, imagine arrows of energy descending through the backs of your thighs, your calves, your heels. Last 2 breaths. On your next exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat, entering a forward fold with your feet apart, your second toes parallel. Bend your knees any amount you may need in order to lengthen your spine without rounding your shoulders. Shift your weight a little heavier onto the balls of your feet than your heels, and press your fingertips either onto the floor ahead or your shins. As you inhale, draw your chest forward, lengthening your spine parallel to the ground. As you exhale, hinge from your hips to bow deeper, Uttanasana. Root down to your feet. Inhale, circle your arms overhead, rising to stand. Watch your palms meet. Exhale, trace your thumbs to your forehead, your heart center, your navel. Arms by your sides. Mountain pose. Let's flow through 3 rounds of sun salutation or half sun salutations. As you spread your toes, root down through the 4 corners of each foot. Rebound, lift up to your spine as you relax your shoulders. Inhale, circle your arms overhead. Keeping your shoulders relaxed, see your palms meet. Exhale, hinge from your hips. You can bend your knees any amount here as you fold. Press the ground of your legs, and inhale, draw your heart forward, gaze towards the tip of your nose. Exhale, bow even further. Rooting down to your feet. Inhale, circle your arms to rise. Look up. Exhale, your thumbs trace your midline. Mountain pose. Twice more. Inhale, sweep your arms high in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow forward in Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway up to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Rooting down to rise up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, back to Tadasana. Last round, breathe in, sweep the space around you. Breathe out, dive in. Inhale, float your heart forward. Exhale, bow towards the earth. Inhale, root down to rise and expand. Exhale, your hands together in your arms. Take a deep breath in, open your mouth, and let it go. So hopefully you're feeling a little looser. We're gonna grab our 2 blocks and come to stand in the middle of your mat, facing the wide width. As you open your arms wide apart, set your feet to land pretty much right under your wrists. Now if that feels a little too wide or intense, you can shorten your stance. Place your blocks on their tallest height, just behind your calves. Now I'm gonna continue to mirror you. So turn your left thigh 90 degrees out, let the foot follow, and turn your right leg inward 45 degrees. Then align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Now bring your hands to your hips and try to level out the height of your 2 hip bones. Imagine you have a book balancing on your head, and bend your left knee to stack just on top of your left heel. Open your arms, warrior 2, but we're gonna move in and out of it. So as you firm down through both feet, inhale, straighten your left leg and raise your arms, lengthen your spine. Exhale, rebend your left knee just over the heel, open your arms. Twice more, inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now let's pause just another 3 breaths in Warrior 2. As you steady your gaze just past your left fingertips, relax your eyes. As you open your arms wide through your full wingspan, soften your shoulders. Firming down through both soles, straighten your left leg again, but keep your arms open. Bring your feet about 2 to 3 inches closer together, a slightly shorter stance for triangle pose. Firm the front muscles of your thighs. Glide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat, reaching your left hand horizontally forward like you're trying to touch the wall you're looking at, before lowering the hand onto your left shin or thigh, or just to the left of your leg with a block right up against your leg. Rotate your left outer hip beneath your body so that the center of your left knee and your middle left toe trace the midline of your mat. Then raise your right arm towards the sky, spinning your chest towards the clouds. Take a deep breath. Feel expansion in all directions of your limbs and both ends of your spine. Triangle pose. Let's take one last breath here. Root down to your feet and inhale to rise up. Let's bring the hands to the hips again. Parallel your feet. Now turning out your right leg 90 degrees. Turn in your left leg 45. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot, and with your pelvis, like the shape of a bowl, remaining upright, bend your right knee to stack just on top of your right heel. Then open your arms, Warrior 2. Press to your feet. Inhale, straighten your right leg and raise your arms. Exhale, rebend your right knee just above the heel, Warrior 2. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last time, inhale up. And exhale, down. Now let's steady our gaze here, just past the right hand, as you feel, again, the balance in your breath. Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your arms wide open, firm down through both of your feet, and straighten your right leg, shortening your stance 2 to 3 inches. Firm the front muscles of your thighs. Glide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat, reaching your right arm horizontally forward as far as you can before tilting your fingertips to land onto your right leg, below or above your knee, or just to the right of your right leg, perhaps on a block that's right up against it. Wrap your right outer hip beneath your body, feeling the full turn out of your right thigh at the hip. Draw your tailbone back towards your left outer heel. Trace the opposite end of that line of energy through the crown of your head, reaching towards your front wall. Spiral your chest towards the sky. Let's take 3 more breaths here in Utthita Trikonasana. And firm down through both of your feet. Inhale to slowly rise up. Let's parallel the feet one more time to prepare for a wide-legged forward fold. Here, you may want to shorten your stance a little bit, adjust comfortable stance for you to bow forward with. Let's bring the hands behind your back, further opening the chest. Whether you want to grab a strap and hold it between your hands or interlace your fingers. Hug your elbows close together. See that your feet are parallel. Inhale, roll your shoulders back. Look up towards the sun. Bend your knees any amount so that back feels long as you exhale, fold from your hips. Deep breaths here as you relax your neck. Let your head feel heavy. Feel the weight of your brain. You might even softly move your skull to release any holding at your neck. tilting your weight forward. Feel it become heavier towards the balls of your feet than your heels. Reaching your arms forward, feel the broadening of your chest. With a slight bend of your elbows, lift your shoulders up, away from your neck. Last 3 breaths in Prasarita Padottanasana. Bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees generously, lead with your chest, and inhale, slowly lift up. Let's come on down to sit on the floor. Please grab your strap as you're finding your way down. You may even want to set up a blanket to sit on if you find that your back rounds when you cross your legs. You're going to set up for a nice hip opening, Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So let's start with the left leg extended forward. Cross your right thigh as much as you can over the left thigh so that perhaps your knees stack down your midline. Here you could choose to keep your bottom leg straight and flex the foot. Otherwise, bend your bottom knee and splay your feet wider apart. Choose the option that allows your pelvis to stay balanced. Now with your right leg on top, grab the strap in your left hand. Raise your left arm, dangling the strap behind you. With the help of your right hand, wrap your left tricep forward. Draw your left shoulder down. Then bend the elbow behind your head to land your left palm between your shoulder blades. Reach your right hand underneath to grab the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. As you press downward through your pelvis, lift upward through your skull. Take a deep breath. Exhale, extend your sternum forward to bow. Just a few more breaths. Cow face pose. As you firm down through your sitting bones, feel a buoyancy at your heart center to help you rise as you inhale. Release your arms, release your legs. Now keep your right leg straight. Press your left thigh as much as you can on top so that your knees might stack. Either keep the bottom leg straight or bend that knee and perhaps splay the feet a little wider apart. Just make sure your pelvis is balanced. Take the strap in your right hand. Dangle the tail of the strap behind your back. With the help of your left hand, rotate your right tricep forward, bend the elbow behind your skull, and draw the shoulder blade down your back. Reach your left hand underneath, grab the other end of the strap, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. Then press downward through your sitting bones. Take a deep breath and lift up through your spine. Exhale, extend your heart forward little by little. A few more breaths in Gomukhasana. On your next in-breath, lead with your chest to slowly rise. And let your arms go. Let's do another shakeout. I was just practicing some Qigong with another teacher the other day, and I just love that feeling of just shaking things out, just like the animals do right after they meet their predator and run away, and just shake out any stress from that fight or flight or freeze response. All right, let's extend the legs forward. We're gonna prepare for a seated forward fold. Separate your feet hips distance. You may want to use a strap and wrap it around the balls of your feet with enough slack so that your shoulders can be slightly behind your ears and down. And if you're not using a strap, you want to walk your hands down your legs so that you're holding on to something. Flex your feet and press your big toe mounds forward, engaging your quadriceps to support your hamstrings. Root down down through your sitting bones and firm your outer hips towards your midline to traction your lower spine. Take a deep breath, broaden your chest, lift through your crown. As you exhale, hinge just a little bit of your range, then pause. As you inhale, root through your pelvis and lengthen again through your crown. As you exhale, maybe hinge a little more. Taking that journey for a few more breaths. Now notice how you're maintaining the natural space between your chin and chest, opening the passageway for your breath to flow. One more deep breath here in Paschimottanasana. On your next inhale, slowly rise up. Now before we lie down for Shavasana, I'd like to practice one last breath work called Nadi Shodhana. So please find a comfortable seat. You may want to prop your pelvis onto something so that your spine feels upright, alert, but relaxed. So Nadi Shodhana balances the left and right hemispheres of the brain, wonderfully calms the nervous system, and helps you to tune inward for a restful Shavasana and meditation. So here, rest your left hand on your lap. You may want to bring your thumb and first finger to touch, a mudra to help concentrate. With your right hand, stick out your thumb, pinky, and ring finger. Then you'll want to eventually close your eyes when you feel ready, steadying your gaze at your brow center, focusing on slow, soft breaths just through the nose, so the mouth is closed the whole time. Let's take a deep breath in, then out through the nose. Hold the breath at the bottom. Use your right thumb to cover your right nostril. Inhale to your left slowly. Hold your breath in. With your last two right fingers, cover your left nostril. Exhale through the right gently. Hold your breath out. Inhale to your right. Hold it in. Cover right with thumb. Exhale through left. Hold it out. Inhale through left. Cover left, exhale to right. Hold it out. Inhale right. Hold it in. Cover right, exhale left. Hold it out. Release both hands onto your lap. Breathing naturally, just allow a pause to observe how you're feeling in this moment. And when you're ready, please place your body in the most comfortable position to lie to rest for a few minutes of Shavasana. If you need to relieve any tension in the lower back, you might find it useful to use a pillow underneath the backs of your knees as you splay your feet apart wider than hips distance. And to feel some grounding, it can be soothing to feel the weight of a blanket resting on top of your pelvis and lower belly. You may like to turn your palms face up to help open the fronts of your shoulders, walking your shoulder blades down your back. Feel that your neck is completely relaxed with its neutral curve and spaciousness. Closing your eyes, mentally scan from head to toe, giving each part of your body permission permission to relax. As you let go of controlling your breath, be here for a few minutes. As you continue to observe your body and breathing, allow your body to guide you into what needs to move first, easing into a gentle stretch or motion. Perhaps you keep your eyes closed, still tuning in. From one position to another, you might turn over to your right side or find your own path of least resistance to gradually arrive sitting up. Let your left hand rest on the middle of your chest and your right hand in your lower abdomen. Empty this breath completely. Inhale 1/3 into your belly, 1/3 into your side ribs, 1/3 into your chest. Hold it in at the top. Through your mouth, exhale fully. Maybe continue to find the quality of water, a flow of both strength and softness. Qualities of love, of ahimsa, within ourselves to share into the world. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. access to the light in you. Namaste. Thanks for joining.